So this video is about product analysis and how we kind of like analyze different products. Now, the most common way we do it at school is using an acronym ACCESSFM. Okay, we go through each of these things in turn whilst we're looking at the product. So obviously more than one way of doing this. Could do DTRAM's good design principles. Okay, but product design analysis we tend to use these for GCSE. Right, aesthetics. What does it actually mean by aesthetics? So if you were doing a product analysis or something like this, aesthetics would all be about what it looks like. What patterns are there? Is there like sort of patterns on the bottom of it, or a pattern on the top? Is there reasons for these things? Okay, what does it look like? So aesthetics is a look of it, is how it appears. Okay, so you might talk about it being pink, you might talk about the fact it's only kind of there's only kind of 3 colours on there, has patterns kind of like sort of mottled, but it's bringing in these triangles that match the sole as well. So there's like a continuation of design theme. You might talk about the fact it has, symbols on the back. Maybe that means something. Okay, so you look at what it looks like. It's all about its looks, and you describe it, whether it's good or bad. Okay, maybe it being pink has a negative effect to it. Maybe that limits its market. Maybe not everyone wants a pink shoe. So maybe that's important. Anyway, all of that's in aesthetics. Yeah, that's that one there. And then you've got cost. So how much is a product? How much does it cost, and how does that compare with what else is out there? Is it a high-end product or not a high-end product? Is there reasons for that? So does it look like it's expensive, or is the price of it disproportionate for what it appears to be worth? Okay? It's about cost. And then consumer, who is the person? Who is this customer? Who is the person that uses a product? Okay, tell me something about them. Is it aimed at a particular age range? Is it maybe, who would want this? Maybe it's limited because of its colour range. Maybe it's limited because of its function. Maybe because it's quite specialised, being a spike like this, maybe it only has a limited market. But that's important. Okay, so I mentioned why might they want it? Why might they be picking this? Okay. Is there a reason why the customer would want the product? So who the customer is, and how does that product fit the customer's needs? Environmental. Now, environmental is going to be quite hard to look and to judge, isn't it? Because unless you've got some prior knowledge, you perhaps wouldn't know that some of this is made from recycled materials. You wouldn't know that, okay? You might be able to Google search that, you might not, but if you can't find out what it's made of, and you can't say that, then think about this instead. Think about, on the whole, if it's a plasticky material, that's going to come from oil, which is going to be bad for the environment. So as a whole, plastics don't biodegrade. Number one. Okay, so negative fact, if it's made of plastics, problem. Number two, if it's made of more than one type of material, so this has got metal in here and plastics, so that's going to be a problem. Okay, because recycling things, you need to separate them. So how can it be separated? And then another thing that might come up, you might think, how many different types of plastic are there? So if a product's made from lots of different types of material, that could be a problem to recycle. So think electrical goods, they're not great from an environmental point of view because you have to disassemble them. But there are some companies, like Apple, made a robot to take apart their phones so they can be recycled. So it is better for the environment. So the environment's quite hard, because you either need to research it and find out some more about it, or you can make judgments. What do you think? Lots of materials, bad for the environment. Plastics, not great for the environment. Okay? Because if they come from maybe finite resources. Metals, maybe it's easier to recycle. Metals are normally recycled. Okay? So how do we separate? So is it lots of effort to separate them? Anything like that. Things you can talk about environmentally. And size of the product, actually get some physical measurements out there. Tell me how big it is. Have a look on the internet. Can you see its sizes? Brilliant. How much does it weigh? How big is it? That's important, because if you're designing a product, you need it to be similar size, or does it need to be smaller? Is it too big? So find me the sizes. Okay, that's relevant. You might want something like a shoe. It's all about proportions, how wide this is compared to this part. Okay, determine if it's going to fit or not. So size of different parts of the product. Safety, you're looking at electrical goods. Okay, you'd want them to be insulated, double insulated maybe. So maybe it's not going to be, if something goes wrong, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to electrocute you. Maybe other products you want not have sharp edges. Maybe something like this, you want it to be grippy in here, little plastic spikes and metal spikes. You want it to be spiky, but you don't want it to be too spiky, it's going to cut you. So it's got to be some kind of happy medium there. Okay. Likewise, you don't want any sharp edges inside the shoe. You want it to be quite smooth, it's not going to hurt you when you wear them. So things like that are important. And then function. What's the purpose of the product? What does it do? How does it fulfill it? Is it successful or is it not? So this is a middle distance spike. It's not the same as a sprint spike. Okay, they are different. Their functions are different. So be particular about that function. It's not just, it's a pen for writing, it's a spike for running. No, they have particular functions, and that's important. You know that, so you can talk about it. Okay, so some have got grips here, some haven't. That's linked to its function. Okay, and then the last one there, materials. Again, you wouldn't know these materials unless you can find them on a Google search. So materials are going to be a problem. So what do? You make the judgment. You look at it and you make the best judgment you can. So if you're not sure what it is, you find something similar and see what that's made of. Okay, or you make the most suitable thing. So what's this? This is a soft rubber. That's probably EVA. So I know that from running shoe design. So we know that. You might not, but if you do know, that's brilliant. Then you've got this outsole here. Now you probably don't know what this is, but do you know what? If you could justify, if you're not 100% sure, and you think, oh, I'm not 100% sure, what could it be? Okay, for lots of our things, if a plastic or polymer is thick and got a slight bend to it, like this cup here, got a slight bend to it. Okay, got a slight flex. It's going to be more likely going to be polypropylene. But if you've got something and it's shiny, so this thing here, it's a shiny finish here. Okay, it's a very shiny. That's more than likely not going to be polypropylene, but if it's going to either be ABS if it's hard wearing, or it's going to be acrylic. So this has got to be quite durable. Okay, so because it's quite durable, it's got to be a different thing. And if I open it up, I can see just inside there's an ABS symbol there. Okay, it says ABS inside, so I know it's ABS. If I haven't got it to take to pieces, I just have to use what I know, and it's okay if you're not 100% right. Hard materials tend to be ABS, but if they're hard and brittle, tend to be acrylic. Okay, electrical things tend to be packaged in ABS. If I looked at lots of woods, if it's quite a light wood and I can see lots of grain, more likely to be pine. If it's a light wood and I can't see much in the way of grain, I might be looking at ash or beech. Okay, hardwoods, things like that. If I can see lots of knots, so lots of dark circles in a bit of wood, likely to be pine. Okay. It's okay if you're not 100% right, as long as you've got the right idea. Okay, and if you've got textiles, lots of textiles are going to be, there might be nylons, okay, or there might be polyesters. But it's okay not to be 100% right, as long as it's an appropriate thing. It wouldn't be okay to look at something like this, okay, and think to yourself, oh, it's a flexible plastic, or what plastic? And I think of, oh, ABS, because ABS is it's harder, rigid products, so that won't work. But if you said polyester or nylon, that's okay. Okay, because if you don't know, then make an educated guess. But if you do know, brilliant, say the right one. Research it, find out. If you're not sure, make an educated guess. Okay, right, and that is product analysis, ACCESSFM. If you try and remember those, that'll make life a lot easier when it comes to product analysis. Okay, because they are often the headings that are mentioned in mark schemes, and often the headings that are expected. So if you're analysing a product, use those. They're also very good if you're writing a specification. Okay, but for product analysis, try and use ACCESSFM.